Welcome back. You're watching Nigeria. You're back in the Nigeria 2015 studio, and we're still talking about the final lap of the elections. Just before I continue, I made a little bit of numerical error, calling out where Channels 24 is now being broadcast. The station can be watched on Sky Channel 575. Not 577, it's 575. Broadcasting to viewers in the United Kingdom. Also, if you've got pictures and want to tell us what's going on in your area, you can send them to m.channelstv.com. I beg your pardon, to Eyewitness, for us to get to know and get a feel of what's going on in your area. But if you want to watch us on the go, m.channelstv.com is the way to go. You can watch us on your Android, iOS, or Windows 8 mobile platforms. We're still looking at the elections and the final lap of the elections, that is. We're turning our attention now to the markets. I still have here with me Channels Business News editor Bosa Mofare, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Financial Directives Company Limited. He's also an economist, Mr. Bismarck Rewane, and Nyota Igbe, also from the election folks earlier on the program. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for sticking around with me. So, Mr. Rewane, let me start with you on this one. The markets just before the elections, what was it like? We saw a lot of mixed trading, we saw a lot of uncertainty, but at a point, it seemed as if things kind of bottomed out, and we had a clear direction of where, the markets were kind of heading. But let's still get your perspectives.
The price of any product, which is what is determined in the market, is made up of many components. First and foremost, there's the demand-supply balance. Secondly, expectations. And thirdly, is fear and greed. Now, pre-election rally, and then you had a relief rally after the elections. And now the market is, again, looking for direction. Interest rate markets are definitely dependent on demand and supply. So I think from now, because the new government has not even taken over office, from now till May, you're going to have this choppy direction, but everything will be almost stable, looking for fair value. It is when the transition team has been announced, when the policies have been elucidated, when you find that you can see some kind of direction, then the markets begin to take a cue. Don't forget that in the short run, markets look for direction. In the long run, markets look for value. And that's what's going to happen.
Okay, if I may ask very quickly, looking back to the road we traveled before these general elections, insecurity, especially from the violent insurgents in the north, yes, as a peculiar insecurity situation in the country, how much do you think the country lost? Well, the projection was 0.5% of the GDP from the Office of the Finance Minister, but in terms of businesses, in terms of what the bottom line will translate into in 2015 numbers, when actually we're looking at those numbers, how much do you think insecurity was a major contributor to the political risk headline figure?
No, I think the 0.5% of GDP, which is maybe $2.5 billion, is an output loss, but that's very misleading. The lost opportunities, if I was going to invest in Bauchi State and it has a border with Borno State or something like that, I may defer that decision because I do not know whether there will be a spillover effect of Borno into Bauchi. So that opportunity of investing there, that final investment decision I was going to make, which I did not make, you have to add that to the actual loss. So in economics, we talk about the opportunity cost as well as the cost. When you put all of that together, you find that the total cost of insecurity and the reputation cost for Nigeria is much, much more significant than has been measured by in terms of how many yams were not produced because of insurgency.
Okay, so let me still, take you back to some of those flash states that Nyota mentioned when we started this program: Bauchi, Lagos, Ekiti, Abia, Rivers, Kaduna, Imo, Benue, and he said somebody actually sent in a message that Akwa Ibom should be there. So we'll put in Akwa Ibom as well. And you just mentioned Bauchi now. For instance, because of the insecurity in that part of the country, we noticed that, food products that ought to have come out of there didn't come. And so we kind of had, a shortfall in terms of food items. But looking at those states now and coming into this weekend's elections, which ones are key, particularly in terms of economic boost?
Well, first and foremost, Lagos is number 7 economy in Africa. So Lagos is extremely important. Whatever happens in Lagos will determine a lot of things. Lagos is the hub of commercial activity. General Buhari has said that Lagos he has recognized the special status of Lagos, and therefore Lagos cannot be ignored. So you can see it in terms of competition for power. Lagos is the key element. Second is Rivers State. Rivers State is the oil capital of Nigeria, and oil is almost everything in Nigeria. So the battle in Rivers State is going to be pretty fierce. And one is about continuity of the massive work that the Amechi administration have done, and the other one is that change so that I can bring about a new direction. After that, you now take Kaduna. Kaduna is central because that's the hub of the textile industry. That was the central. That was the capital. Yeah, and that was the capital of the northern part of Nigeria. Everybody in the north in the past had to have a property and a home in Kaduna. It is symbolic and it's also strategic. So Kaduna is important. You now go to Akwa Ibom, right? Akwa Ibom, again, the home of oil, again, and that's important, and then Bauchi. So I will take those 5 states in that order. I will take Lagos, Rivers, Kaduna, then I'll bring Akwa Ibom, and Bauchi because of its tourism, and also you manufacture tanks and things out of that location. So I think those will be important steps.
Kaduna is also important because of the Defense Academy.
Yes.
I think that's
not only the Defense Academy, Jaji,
yes.
the Aviation School, there are significant things. But the textile industry is also, UNTL and others are very important in Kaduna.
If you look at Abia State, for example, this is one state at the center of the eastern part of the country. Neota, I'm sure this has been very a tough area as well for these 2015 elections. On all fronts, whether at the presidential or at the state level, isn't it?
Abia State has been indeed a tough, but a boiling pot, so to speak, hoping that the steam will not escape. But it's been a boiling pot because Aba in particular has always been in the history books of Nigeria as a business hub, as a manufacturing hub. Small-scale industries have been known to thrive in Aba. Basically, Abia State has been known for small-scale industries. Anything and everything you can think of, you can find in Aba.
And that's why some banks are interested in that area.
It's quite volcanic. Abia State is volcanic in the sense that you have a banker, a accomplished banker fighting against entrenched interests. And it's quite, Abia State has been under lock and key of a group for some time.
No,
somebody's trying to open it up.
Someone will say, there are those who believe that the established banker who's seeking to go in there is because he has looked at it from the financial point of view and has seen the amount of income that can be generated from that hub, that business hub. So he's thinking that, and there's a power plant there that is already.
No, but I mean, even breweries. There are bad breweries. Oh yes, there's a brewery there. There's a brewery in Umaya. I mean, there's a lot of investment, and it's a trading hub. You know.
Yes, I was going to actually talk about the fact that very recently we actually got reports about some of the cobblers who were actually there. Yes. They were complaining about the fact that they would make nice, good quality shoes. Forget the fact that it's made in Aba, and they don't have anybody who's patronizing them. And we're talking about backward integration. We're talking about encouraging people to wear made in Nigeria products.
Do you know what they used to do as far back as 1992, between 92 and 1994? At least I know that at that point in time I had family in Aba. Yes. But do you know what they do? The cobblers, they make the shoes looking fantastic. Yes. And they label it made in Italy.
Oh yeah,
they've changed.
But now they've changed.
Because early last year, they made jackboots for military personnel. We had a production crew over there. They made jackboots like the ones you wore for those who were in Operation Desert Storm.
Paramilitary and the rest.
Paramilitary and the rest of them. And they were all on display. They were very heavy in small industry and machinery. And we had them making footwears and flip-flops and what have you. And they had bags like this, and they were shipping to different parts of Nigeria. They were also shipping to Cameroon. Yes. They were shipping to Mali. They were shipping to Chad and Burkina Faso. Aba is still, as much as Lagos is big, I'm telling you, Aba is still the Pan-African trade hub for Nigeria, as it were. If we develop that part of the country so much, and I think this current administration should look into that and getting that place to become the Shanghai, whatever you can call it.
But you need to deal with the political issue. That place has been run like a village council for the past 16 years. And it's, they need to bring a breath of fresh air. There's need for a business approach to doing business, to running that state.
In Abia State.
And maybe, just maybe, who knows? There are political interests and business interests. If they are aligned, you get a good outcome.
Very interesting. Okay, now that we're done with the state, Harriet, if I may add in here, before we go to we have time to look at those who had been beneficiaries of this electoral campaign, because I'm sure, you're smiling. Why are you smiling?
Talk about beneficiaries.
We've all been beneficiaries of this process. But
elections, general elections, especially transitional elections, are always a lot of money on the street. Campaign funds coming from the market street and from the main street. so we understand, and it was spread around. So looking at this process, Mr. Rewane, do you think we've been able to put to rest some concerns raised about campaign funding and things like that?
I think so. You see, because, again, 16 years of what I call near democracy, not democracy. Now we've got into some kind of democratic process. It costs a lot of money. Elections are expensive anywhere in the world. And they have to be targeted, and you have to achieve the desired impact. I think it's a good thing. Campaign funding, if it's used to rig elections or to buy all sorts of people to write results, then it's negative. But if it is to get the minds and hearts of people to reach and to send your message across, then it is worthwhile. Every kobo spent on getting your programs there, having debates, having discussions, having town hall meetings are extremely useful for the evolution of a democratic process.
well,
Jota, you have something to say about campaign funding and all? Mr. Rewane says, well, it's better
if I say what I'm about to say, then we'll not go on that break.
So let's quickly take a break. We'll come back and continue this conversation. Just to let you know, Channels Television is now broadcast to viewers in the United Kingdom. Known as Channels 24, the station can be watched on Sky Channel 575. Of course, you know that all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, or on youtube.com/channelsweb. And if you like, you can also watch us on the go on m.channelstv.com on your iPad, iPhone, or BlackBerry. That is any of your Android-based devices. Well, it's still Nigeria 2015. We're looking at the final lap of the elections. We'll be right back.